Hi, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Nate. Welcome to the Monopoly YouTube channel, where we talk about life, love, and relationships. Thanks for joining us on this adventure.
And if you're enjoying what we've been discussing, we would love it if you subscribed. You can also follow me on social media at TikTok and Instagram at Married MILF Diaries. It's a fun name, huh?
It's a fun name.
So today we're going to be talking about jealousy. This is one of the questions that I get asked about a lot, both from other men that are interested in dating me and just people who are curious about how non-monogamy and polyamory works. So before we get into talking about what jealousy looks like and ways to help combat it, do you get jealous?
Yeah, so great question. So I do get jealous. I know that's not probably very hard to imagine. As a monogamous person, right? I have a wife who's polyamorous. It's can be hard sometimes when Courtney's going on dates and I'm home just doing boring home stuff, and in my mind I think it's a lot worse though, right? Like every date is going to be the best date and it's going to be so fun, and I'm just at home like doing the dishes or whatever other menial task I have to do in the evenings or whenever else she's on a date. I think for me the main thing that I struggle with, and that's not just in this, but in many areas, the idea of sort of being alone or being, by myself. So it's taken me a long time to be okay with being by myself. I think we live in a society where we spend a lot of time either connected, either in real life or on some screen somewhere, connected with other people. And so then when you have those moments where you're not connected, and we've been married for almost 20 years now, we've been together for, a long time, that can be very challenging. I think the other thing that is a struggle for me is when Courtney goes on dates, there's an element of newness and excitement, right?
New relationship energy.
New relationship energy, right? We've all had that. I think most of us have at least. And that's an awesome feeling, right? You have all the chemicals in your brain and you feel great and it's exciting and fun. At least the thought of all those things of the date is exciting and fun. And then I'm, again, not having those same experiences. So I think for me, a lot of the jealousy comes from not having sort of that newness and excitement, less sort of like how the date's going to go, less like what's going to happen in the future, but more just sort of the idea that like I could be missing out or that I don't get to have the sort of fun, cool new experiences that Courtney could be having. Again, in my mind, a lot of times it can be worse, or I sort of, tend to catastrophize a little bit about it, but ultimately, we have worked through a lot of these issues and we're doing great. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But yes, I do get jealous, although it's been getting better as we learn and grow in our relationship and learn to communicate and sort of work through some of our issues and decide and use some of the tactics that we're going to talk about now over the next few minutes. So,
what do you think has been the most helpful in dealing with the jealousy? Because I think it's really important to our goal isn't to eliminate jealousy, because jealousy is a normal feeling. And a lot of times there is underlying feelings of fear, sadness that really come out as jealousy. And so it's not a bad thing to be jealous of your partner when they're in a situation that makes you feel insecure. So what do you think is the thing that we've done together that's been the most effective for addressing jealousy?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing that we've done is really found a pattern of communication that works for us.
Yeah.
And so, again, this is going to look different for everyone, but for us, it's important for me to understand a little bit about who Courtney's dating, kind of what the plan is, where they're going to be, what they're doing. And again, I don't need to know all the details, but understanding who the other human being is that she's going to go on a date kind of helps me, right? I sort of understand what's going on. I think the other part of it is communicating sort of what the goals are, right? Like what the goals of the day are. Is it going to be just a coffee date? Is it going to be a dinner date? Is it going to be whatever else? And just mostly so that I feel looped in as part of this relationship, right? So I'm not just on the outside looking in, that I'm also part of it, that I'm, in the discussion about it. And I think that the important thing for me is that my opinions and my thoughts seem to matter to Courtney. And I'll let you, talk a little bit about that. But so that I am included, so that we can be open and honest with each other. Because I think the hiding and secrets and, fear and and jealousy all kind of run together. And so if you get rid of that or break through that, it can be really helpful.
Yeah. So the polyamory that I practice and how we are in our marriage is very open about it, except for what I do sexually. So those are the things that Nate has asked that I don't discuss with him. But everything else is like, he wants to understand, he wants to be included, he wants to feel like he matters, and he absolutely does. Like, his opinion is paramount in terms of the people that I'm considering dating. I ask myself, would I be proud to introduce my future possible boyfriend to Nate? And if the answer is I don't know, then I'm not going to be going out with him. So one of the things that I really tried hard to do is to communicate with Nate who the type of person that I'm going out with, age, where they're from, where they live, what they do for work, just like general things, and then what our thoughts are for the date. So sometimes I've had guys live 4 or 6 hours away, and so it's been a little bit more complicated in terms of not just popping down and having coffee and for a couple of hours and then just coming home. And so when we're talking about, okay, what does a date with somebody that lives far away or somebody locally look like, he feels like he is a part of that conversation and a part of that process, because this is not just something I'm doing over here on my own and like, well, don't ask, don't tell. There are some couples that do that, and so they don't see the need to have that discussion or that shared approach to it. But because I'm very open and transparent with my actions, and I want him to just feel considered, I want him to know that his feelings matter. And if he has something going on at work, or he's got something going on that this week or this, Saturday at 12 isn't a great time for me to have a date, which he rarely does. He never pulls the, oh, I have something with work. I have, the kids have this. Like, he's very encouraging of, okay, what's best for you and the guy that you're trying to meet, and how can we accommodate it with everybody's schedules? And that makes it feel so much more partnered in this, as opposed to, him being a parental figure, letting me do these things when I'm, not.
Yes.
So
that's great. I totally agree. What are 1 or 2 other resources that you can recommend to folks to consider as they're trying to talk about their polyamory with their partner, or anything else that they're thinking about and sort of changing the way their relationship looks right now?
Ooh, so one of the things that I really love doing is following people that I'm curious about, or I want to have their life be like their life. So either it's in the way of their partnership or their communication, it's in the way of like the kind of parent that they are. And so there's some really great accounts that we'll list in the show notes that I follow personally, and I have found really helpful in terms of a lot of the issues that polyamorous people or people considering non-monogamy can find helpful.
And I think the last thing for me that I would recommend is just understand why you're having the feelings that you're having, right? So for me, it took a while. It took, kind of going back in my past, my history, and, understanding why I had feelings of either inadequacy or of isolation or jealousy or anger or fear, whatever else it is, whatever emotion you're feeling. Go back and try to figure out why you're having those feelings and try to understand, and then let your partner know. Because if they don't know what you're feeling, and you just come across as mad or sad or whatever else it is, but you can only give those descriptors, then it's hard for them to help you work through the process. It's hard for them to understand what you're going through. And so again, it's all about open communication. It's all about, understanding who you are and what you need, and then building that up as a couple and together.
Yeah, and not seeing the jealousy as a personal attack on yourself. So if Nate comes to me and is like, hey, I'm feeling really like uncomfortable or unsettled, or like he uses the word I'm feeling jealous, to not use that, like to be triggered by that and like, oh, you don't want me to be happy. You just like, you never want me to enjoy myself. Like, because that's how it used to be, right? I would be triggered by his feelings of insecurity. I just wanted him to be the ultimate cheerleader. And then when I realized that his jealousy didn't really have anything to do with me, that it was a way of him trying to connect with me and just need some reassurance, it changed the way that I saw him and approached him, and really helped strengthen our relationship before I'd go on a date or after, or really any time in between.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, so just to like sum it up, I would say jealousy is normal. Like, it's not something that it needs to be feared. It's like a welcome friend that helps just you tune inside to whatever it is that is needing attention and needing some reassurance, and really just you can work through it. It's not a deal breaker. So one, it's normal. Two, it's workable. And if it pops its head up even after years of doing this, that's okay.
Yeah, just communicate, work with each other, know you're a team,
Yeah.
continue to build your relationship together. So,
Yes.
all right. And as we always say,
Can't stop, won't stop.
Thanks for joining us. Feel free to subscribe, comment below, and thank you for watching today.
Bye.